Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
All right, we will now begin with Keoni Diggs. Keoni.
Well, Keoni, a home game for you here in Hawaii. You've done this once before, but is it any less special? Are you excited to fight in front of your home crowd again?
Can you hear me? Yep. All right. I can hear myself. We're all good to go. Yeah, super pumped, of course, to be back here for sure. But I guess it's like when something's gone, you miss it a little bit more. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah, I haven't fought here since 2019, so super pumped, ready to get it going, and yeah, ready to make some noise on Saturday for all the local crowd.
Yeah, is it good and bad to fight in front of your hometown crowd?
I don't see any bad about it. It's always a plus. Everything's a lot comfortable from the weight cut to training, coaches. Everything is, you're in your element, whether it be reload for after your weigh-ins or whatever the case may be, for eating or whatever. But it's just a lot more easier, a lot more familiar. Everything, even the hotel here, Blaisdell, everything. I grew up in that place, so it's all home.
You mentioned the weight cut. You're back at 155 for this fight. Your last one was at 145, correct? So what was the decision to bounce back up in weight?
Oh, we only signed a contract 4 or 5 weeks out. I need to know a little bit further out for that 45 one. It's not that easy getting down there, so I definitely like to have the most. And then we had some other 45ers on the card that I know that you know what I mean. So I was just trying to give the matchmakers a little bit more options. Told them I'll go to lightweight. You know what I mean? So it's not like I really did bad there either.
Yeah, and how do you kind of view that fight at featherweight? Obviously, it was your first drop down in Bellator, and it didn't go your way, split decision, but you fought a former title contender. So, what did you walk away with? What was the learning experience coming out of that one?
It's a good one. I got a lot of things I want to say. Yeah, it was a good learning experience. I got caught with a good shot like in the first 30 seconds. I had to rebound. Still thought I won the second and third round. You know what I mean? Don't leave it to the judges. What I would say though is be a little bit more tactical in my approach. There were some traps that I could have set in that fight that I kind of just went into just straightforward. Put your toes down and just swing, you know what I mean? And trying to catch him with some big shots because I knew probably I lost that first round. So but it's all a learning experience. That was probably one of the best guys I fought to date. And yeah, just a good learning experience overall for the 45 cut and the type of person I was fighting. And I thought it was going to be a little bit of a different fight, but it is what it is. So we're just on to the next, and all I'm focused on is Saturday night.
And I know you said that cut to 45 wasn't easy for you, but do you feel like you learned something that you could take away from that experience to make your cut to 155 a little bit easier and smoother?
55 has always been very easy for me to make. Like I don't know, in training, I'm probably one of the smallest 55ers that I train with. Everybody from out at the lab or here with Yanti and everybody to Benson and all those guys. I'm kind of smaller than all those guys. You know what I mean? I don't really have a problem making 55 at all. Like I could have made weight 2 weeks ago. It's I don't have to track all your calories, and you don't have to do a lot of the extra work. 45, I got to be on top of everything. It's down to the science.
For sure. And your opponent, Bobby King, was he somebody that you were familiar with?
No, I didn't even know about him, honestly, until and the craziest little backstory on this, when he fought Aviv Ghazali, I'm screaming at the screen, "Let's go, Hawaiian," when he heard him, because everybody was a big underdog, and we're always going to root for the home team guys. Never thought I'd be fighting him on the next one, but hey, you got to do what you got to do sometime. But that's why it's super funny, because I was legit rooting for him on that 274 card. I won't be rooting for him on Saturday, though.
Yeah, Keoni, along those lines, the dynamic of fighting at home, fighting against a Hawaii guy, how do you balance those emotions when you know that there's going to be people that you train with, that you support, that are going to be supporting him just based on knowing him better.
Honestly, that has no bearings on anything on Saturday night. Honestly, I take all my emotion out anyway. I don't feel anything. Man, when they close that cage door, it's focus. It really don't matter if we had lunch the week before. I still gonna do the same exact thing I'm trying to do on Saturday, regardless. No emotion, just work. That's all.
And when you look at the bouncing back, the adversity that you went through for the first time in your professional career, how valuable do you think that was as you enter this fight?
Great question. Very valuable. Very valuable. You see what you're made of. You know what I mean? Everybody can say they're going to respond this way when they get hurt, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. Everybody got this grand scheme in their mind, but you don't know until you're in those trenches, till you're in those moments to where you have to dig deep, or you can kind of, you know what I mean? Just fall to the wayside. I proved a lot to myself. And yeah, just excited for the next challenge on Saturday.
We will now take questions from the attendees. Our first question will come from Jay Anderson. Jay?
Thanks very much. And Keoni, I mean, it's been about 10 months almost since that last fight, and just coming off the first loss, how difficult has the waiting been? Because I imagine you wanted to get right back on the horse.
Well, we were scheduled for December 3rd at another 45 against what is his name? Kai Boy fought him on that December 3rd card, but I had a little injury that I had to take care of, but everything healed up nicely, and now we're here. So yeah, I was supposed to be fighting December 3rd. I was booked already for that, but things just kind of got in the way, and now we're here.
And we've talked about coming back to Hawaii for the first time in 3 years. And speaking to some of the other Hawaiian fighters, they've pointed out, I mean, it's not easy for Hawaiian fans to see some of the homegrown stars. If they want to see you guys fight, sometimes they've got to go to the mainland. How big is this for the state of Hawaii?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, yeah, since UFC and Bellator and one and all the other shows like Strike Force was gone away with. Soon there's no Super Bowls. We used to have some really legit shows back in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, and every time Bellator comes here, it's a big deal. It's been a big deal because this is one of the premier organizations for our sport in the world, and they're coming here, so it's always a big deal. And Hawaii loves their fighters, and Hawaii loves MMA fights in general. So we've always been a big fight state.
Absolutely, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, boss.
Our next question will come from Corbett.
Hey, Keoni. Good luck this weekend, buddy. Want to ask you a quick question. You fought now at 2 different weight classes. You see a lot of fighters cut a lot of weight to be as big as possible. Did you feel as strong at 45 as you do at 55?
Yes, I felt great.
No issue with the cardio, nothing?
Actually, cardio's through the roof. Yeah, everything felt great, man. I got caught, maybe a little complacent, maybe started off a little bit slow going back to replaying that first round. Besides, because I've watched that fight a few times, and I only really remember him catching me with a good shot in the first, and then, of course, he caught me with a second shot in the second round that cut me open, so it really looked bad to the judges. But those are about the 2 only punches I saw really the whole fight that were significant strikes at all. Yeah, I don't really know, but I felt great at 45. I feel great at 55. I just know we have to be a lot more on it and a lot more, just a lot more on it diet wise. And the weight cut, everything just got to be on point at 45. No room for error.
Next and last question from Dylan.
What's up, man? Thanks for taking the time. You and Nolan spoke a little bit about your last bout. We know you disagreed with the decision, but how long did it take you to come to terms with that split decision and get your mind right to train for your next fight?
Coming to terms, meaning?
Like to accept the decision and
I mean, it is what it is. I got a loss next to my record, I came to terms with it as soon as I got in that ambulance and they started stitching me up. I'm not going to change what I think. I'm only in control of what I think. But you know what I mean? My opinion never count that night. Only the three guys' opinions counted, but still not gonna change my opinion. I'm always a realist. I lost. It is what it is. But in my mind, I never lose. So that's something that only I can control, and they can control the decision, you know? So it is what it is.
Understood.
But I'm not trying to leave it into the judges' hands on Saturday. So hopefully they can take off on my fight.
Yep. And lastly, how would you describe your experience training at the MMA lab in Glendale, Arizona, and how did guys like Benson Henderson and John Crouch help you get to where you are today?
Just super blessed to be around guys like that. Can just learn so much from them, how he carries himself like a champion, how hard he works, and yeah, Crouch is one of the great minds in the MMA game. But yeah, just being around those guys, you just learn a ton of stuff from them. Like I said, I spent 7 years out there with Ben and all those guys, and just endless lessons. Like I said, just how he carries himself in wins and in defeats, and yeah, and the work ethic and the mind state that he kind of has going into training, into fights, whatever the case may be. True champ in and out of the ring.
All right, thank you.